back-to-back raids that are being conducted in the third location. We are talking about a third different case altogether, and this is in regard with Partha Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee. Now, this is a fresh round of raids that are taking place at one of those residences of Arpita Mukherjee. Tanushree, which exactly residence are we talking about?
Well, this is a separate residence from Taliganj and Belgoria. This is in Anandapur in Ruby. We see that this is a building. The building is owned by Arpita. The address is 683. This is the address. We see central forces are inside over here. And just before this raid, the ED had gone on to another raid also. Here we are in this place where this is the second raid that they are conducting today. The first one was just a few meters away where the raid was being conducted, but now they've come to a second place and the CRPF are over here, and also the security guard, the caretaker, is here. We see that the flat is completely empty, but since tomorrow is the production of Partha Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee, so the ED wants as much evidence as they can gather today, because today is the last day after which the ED remand will be over. Certainly the Enforcement Directorate will be asking for more custody, as we are getting to know from our sources, because the black diary and the pocket diary has revealed several incriminating evidences. They have given several links that the ED are trying to look into, because the black diary and the pocket diary, there have been total transactions mentioned over there with initials and mobile numbers. So the ED is looking into that, and those diaries are handwritten, by the way. Handwritten notes are there. So handwriting experts have also been brought in so that the handwriting can be identified, whether it's Arpita's or Partha Chatterjee's, because we know that on both of them are saying the money is not theirs. Arpita Mukherjee is saying that the money belongs to Partha Chatterjee, all the deeds, all the life insurance, all the deeds and all the insurance policies in which she's a nominee, those were just as a name, but actually she does not have any knowledge. She had no right over any of the deeds, any of the properties. Everything was just bought in her name. That is the allegation she has made, whereas Partha Chatterjee is saying that the money does not belong to him. It has not been found in his residence, so it is not his. So whose is it? That is the question. And the diary that has been decoded now, in that diary the names are being mentioned, the mobile numbers. Now if those can be tracked by the Enforcement Directorate, then certainly a longer link.
Tanushree, if you could just give our viewers a perspective and a sense of the location that you're in, because that appears to be quite a big residential property there. Which floor did Arpita stay on? Does the entire property belong to her? Was it one specific apartment that is now being raided by the Enforcement Directorate? Any idea about the recoveries? What can you tell us?
And mostly in posh localities.
Well, if you see, this is one of the posh localities in South Kolkata. This is near Ruby, Anandapur area. And over here, as we see, this entire building belonged to Arpita. The whole building belonged to Arpita. These are like 3 floors, and these are very posh area. Over here, there are only duplex houses. It's a very quiet residential area. So therefore, over here, as you see, it's a very posh area. The people, it's a well-to-do area, and over here she has one property. Just minutes.
All right. Tanushree, we'll just come back to you. We have BJP reacting on this. There's another round of fresh raids taking place by the Enforcement Directorate. It remains to be seen what exactly would be unearthed this time. Let's quickly listen into the BJP reaction.
केवल रुपया नहीं है, 50 करोड़ रुपया नहीं है, 200 करोड़ से ज्यादा प्रॉपर्टी का अभी तक बरामद हुई है, और भी कितना है भगवान जाने, आगे आएगा। बहुत लंबा मामला है, बहुत बड़ा घपला है, तो मानी किसी का ये तो पता चलेगा। उनका घर में है, लेकिन उनको मालूम नहीं है कि रुपया किसका है। जिन्होंने देख रेख किया है, भेजा है, उनको मालूम नहीं है। ऐसा नहीं चलता है, सब मालूम है, बहुत लोग इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं, इसलिए थोड़ा समय लगेगा सच्चाई सामने आने में।
You have seen all.
Right, so that was Dilip Ghosh, of course, responding to the series of raids that have now been conducted by the Enforcement Directorate in relation to the teachers' recruitment scam. Let me go back once again to Tanushree. Tanushree, you were explaining to our viewers the location where you're at. That entire property allegedly belongs to Arpita Mukherjee. It looks quite palatial in what is an extremely posh locality in Kolkata.
Well, we are speaking to the caretaker over here. Dada, Arpita ji क्या आती थी यहाँ?
कौन?
अर्पिता मुखर्जी।
हाँ, एक दिन आया था, 6 महीना होता आगे।
ये पूरा फ्लैट उनका क्या करती थी यहाँ पे? कौन कौन आते थे?
सब डॉक्टर सब है, हॉस्पिटल डॉक्टर सब रहता है।
So the caretaker over here clearly tells us that this entire property belongs to Arpita Mukherjee and she has rented it out to the hospitals which are surrounding this area. We know that there are several hospitals in this area, and these flats, there are 6 flats in total in this entire building, out of which 5 flats have been rented out to the hospitals. Right now we are seeing the CRPF have been positioned over here. The caretaker is staying over here. तो दादा, जब पता चला कि ऐसा घटना घटा है तो उसके बाद आप है, आपको किसी ने बोला है रहने के लिए, केयर टेकिंग करने के लिए?
नहीं, हम है 7-8 साल से आए यहाँ।
7-8 साल से कभी पार्थ चैटर्जी को देखे हैं यहाँ पे? So see, over here the caretaker is here for the past 7-8 years, but he's never seen Partha Chatterjee. But certainly Arpita Mukherjee has been visiting this area. Arpita Mukherjee was last here 6 months ago. We are seeing ED officials are entering once again. So certainly certain documentations would be done. We know that tomorrow there's the court production, and before that the ED would like to gather as much evidence as they can from in and around the city. And this is in a posh area. We know there are hospitals surrounding, so this was certainly used as a commercial property because the flats were given out for rent, and there are 6 flats out of which 5 have been given out for rent. The caretaker has been here for the past 7 to 8 years, and he has certainly not seen Partha Chatterjee, but Arpita Mukherjee used to come regularly. Back to studio.
All right, so the pictures that are coming in, I mean, Tanushree, just keep showing us to those pictures and give a roundup of how many properties till now that has been uncovered and actually investigated by the Enforcement Directorate, because we are looking at multiple societies, multiple flats in those same societies, all of them said to be in those posh localities, and the links somewhere are being drawn to Partha Chatterjee.
Well, you see, right now we were in another location that was a few meters from here. That was the Om Villa. What we were getting to know over there was that that plot was owned by Arpita Mukherjee, and from that plot they had built a building, and they had the flats were built. Now this, we know this entire building has been owned by Arpita Mukherjee. It belongs to her as per the caretaker's statement, and she has rented this property out. There are flats in Taliganj, in Belgoria. Also we know that there are properties in also we see that there are properties in Shanti Niketan. There are several properties in Shanti Niketan which are in the name of Partha Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee. Now one of them, OPA is one which is certainly under the ED scanner, because evidences have been found that both of them had bought the property in 2012, but then that property was registered under Arpita's name in 2020, and certainly the owners had said that they had sold it off to Arpita. So there are a lot of properties that have been bought. There are condos that have been found. We also know there is Iche was a commercial property which is also close by in Rajdanga area. So in Iche, that was used as a commercial property. Now one thing that is coming out from the municipal sources is that we also see that the Iche property is also one property where the municipality is saying that that property actually appears vacant under the municipal records, but then suddenly a building has come up and a tax in the Iche property, that is one of the entertainment properties, production house properties of Arpita Mukherjee. She is paying a tax of rupees 2,000, whereas as a commercial property a rupees 2 lakh tax is charged. So certainly, according to municipal sources, they would be taking back that property. Also the property next to it, that is also owned by Arpita, but that is shown in the municipal records as an empty property. So how many properties are there? It is yet to uncover, because each and every day new properties are coming out. Now we also know that there are locals who have become very tight-lipped, because if I show you the society around, you see these are all very posh localities of Kolkata, because it's certainly a very empty, quiet, serene place, and certainly locals would not know that there were this kind of thing had happened. Arpita Mukherjee, certainly they must have seen Arpita Mukherjee, but then they would not have known that, you know, it was owned by Partha Chatterjee probably. भैया आपने कभी देखा है पार्थ चैटर्जी अर्पिता को?
नहीं देखा।
तो आपको पता था ये उनका प्रॉपर्टी है?
लेकिन वो प्रॉपर्टी नहीं पता। 683 यहाँ से था, हम लोग जानते, लेकिन उसका प्रॉपर्टी नहीं जानता हम लोग।
आप लोग क्या यहीं के रहने वाले हैं?
मिठाई दुकान से काम करने वाला है।
अच्छा, कभी कोई वीआईपी को देखा है?
नहीं, कोई नहीं,
किसी को नहीं देखा। Certainly, you know, over here, since the property is actually rented out to the hospital patients over here, so they have not seen Partha Chatterjee, because in certain cases they have said that in certain flats Partha Chatterjee did come, but not in this one as we see. But Arpita Mukherjee certainly used to come, as we know from the caretaker. He is saying that, you know, she used to come. Last she came 6 months ago when she visited the spot. We also know there are several beauty salons.